Pra-ra-pa-pa-pa, ching, 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 ching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this episode of the investing. It's not the investing. It is the pre-market show. I forgot what show we were on. We actually have an extra special guest who was on the investing blueprint. And I think that's where my wires got crossed. This is the 84th episode of the pre-market show. And we have a very, very extra special guest. We're going to get over to the show right now. All right, without further ado, I would like to present to you a very good friend of mine, one of the best traders that I know and work with very closely, none other than Mr. Shannon Thompson. Shannon, welcome. How you doing, my brother?
Thank you for having me on here. I'm doing well. I wish it was a bit drier outside. However, we're braving the elements, and it's truly a pleasure. You said 83 episodes?
Yes, that's right.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, man. It's exciting, and I really enjoy and support what you're doing on this channel.
Thank you very much, Shannon. And it's actually a pleasure to have you on. You have a growing and very informative community that you are actually managing. So it's also a great honor to be a part of your community and what you're building.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so bit by bit, just to give everybody a snapshot if they're unaware of it, it was basically formed as a grassroots WhatsApp group, really just designed to help individuals get off the ground trading. And so there's some type of synergy between traders where we can bounce ideas off of each other and eventually everybody win together.
That's a beautiful, beautiful message. And would you say if somebody is interested in joining bit by bit, what's the best way? I know you have Insta. What's your preferred method of communication?
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually it's by word of mouth. I just pass the referral link on to different individuals because I want it to be an intimate connection. I don't want it to be a general group that people just come in and they don't participate. I want people to be engaged. I want people to feel comfortable. And because of that, generally invites come by individuals. So if you know someone who's in the group, or even if you're in one of Mandela's groups, I can post the invite link in that chat and you can join from there.
Awesome. I'm happy to send people your way. And I'm happy to do that. More than happy. So I have a question, and it's probably one that I've heard before, but for anybody, this is the first time finding out that you are in the financial market space. How did you first get interested in trading and in what you're doing now?
So my trading history goes back a long time. So in high school was when I initially got interested in trading. I have a picture in my freshman year yearbook, in high school. And underneath my picture, it says, I want to retire by 40 and be a trader. And that led to me joining a club at school, and we joined a competition called the Alabama SMS, the stock market simulation game. And our team actually came second in the state of Alabama in trading, and we won a bunch of money for our school and whatnot. And from there, it lit a fire that, hey, financial freedom is attainable. I don't have to live the life that I live. And not to say that I grew up with hard times, but, there's things that I wanted to do coming up that I would love for my children to experience, for my wife, and things of that nature. So I just recognized that it was a path to reclaim time.
That's a beautiful, beautiful reason. And I think a lot of people sometimes forget their why, and they forget why they are interested in this industry. And oftentimes I think the money sometimes becomes the focal point. And I think it's a lot deeper than that. And you've basically shown over the many years. How long have you had Bit by Bit? It's
Bit
been,
by bit
I
has
want
been
to say,
around for at least 6 years. At
yeah,
least
that's a
six
good amount of
years.
time.
Yeah, 5 or
That's a
6
good amount of
years.
time. Yeah, I know people that have been trading for 6 months, and
Wow.
so yeah, 6 years is a very good amount of time. A lot of lessons learned,
Absolutely.
um, and I think that's also part of the whole experience. So let's get over to the live chat. We do have a live chat. So if you are watching us live and you'd like to send over some questions, you will need to have a YouTube account, but please feel free to type in the live chat. We got about another 25 minutes with Shannon, so happy to speak to your comments. Looks like we have Isildur saying hello. So let us know, Isildur, if you have any questions or any comments for us. We'll be happy to address those. Let's talk a bit about crypto. I look at you as kind of the crypto expert. It's a space that I think you've been following for a very long time, probably before Bit by Bit was created. What's your thoughts on the current situation? What are you thinking?
So yeah, you're right. I have been in the crypto space for a number of years now. And my thoughts are that I think we're in for more downside action, if I'm being completely honest with you. We were talking before the show started, and this has been one heck of a bull run. It started around November 22, where we bottomed out at around 14K.
Yep.
And, we were about 900 days of continuous uptrend. Yes, there were some retracements along the way, but there was about a 900-day span, which is almost 3 years of an uptrend. And
Yep.
what I saw playing out in the market, and I didn't time it great, but I did see it coming, was that there was strong bearish divergence playing out in the charts. And bearish divergence is tricky because when you see it on a larger time frame, you know that there's fundamentally something going wrong in the background. But and we talked about emotions, and when your emotions get involved and you still see prices going up, it's hard to accept the fact that the market's going to go down. So we retraced from about 120 or 1,000 down to we was hovering around 90, 100,000 for a period of time, and then a bear flag started forming, and this was on the weekly chart. And as most traders would tell you, when you get into the higher time frames, the daily, weekly, there's less false signals. So when I saw this bear flag forming on the weekly chart, I actually started giving everybody warnings, and bit by bit, I was like, hey, this uptrend, this, micro environment uptrend that we're in, it's not going to be pretty. And I think if my memory serves me correctly, my projection was around 51K.
Yes, it was. I do remember that. I remember that. But that was when we were a lot higher. That
Yeah,
was a
yeah, yeah.
while
So I
ago.
made
That was
that
a lot.
projection when I think we were around 80,000 or something, of that
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I did short the market, and I did have a nice gain. I jumped out too early. But nevertheless, I saw the writing on the wall, and I don't think that we formed a base yet or found a bottom. Typically, when Bitcoin bottoms, it looks to a prior cycle's all-time high, but we completely dropped through the last cycle's all-time high. So who knows? 50K may be the bottom, but it may not be. I won't be surprised if Bitcoin did surprise everyone and flush everyone out. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. No, if I knew exactly where it would fall, then I would, I would be a very rich person. But yeah, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I just pulled up a chart, and I know you're on the road right now, but this chart does not do your charts justice.
Yeah.
But I just have 50,000 down here, so that's
Hmm.
another almost like another 17,000 to the downside, and
Hmm.
that looks like it was the lows back in August 2024
Yeah.
thereabouts.
But what's fascinating about this is that how cyclical Bitcoin operates. And we talked about this pre-market, but Bitcoin tends to bottom around Q4, the year after the all-time high. So
And Q4 the year after that, so that would put us Q4 this year.
yes, so Bitcoin
Oh,
typically
okay.
bottoms around Q4, the year after the all-time high. And what's interesting about that is that Bitcoin also is it's not unique to Bitcoin. The S&P also has 4-year cycles. If you look at the charts, look at it on a monthly chart or even a 2-month chart, you'll notice that every 4 years there's a major retracement in the market. And I don't know why. I don't know why there's always a different storyline to accompany it, whether it be changes in monetary policy, whether it be war. There's always something that comes out through the news. However, every 4 years, Bitcoin and the traditional markets tend to have a significant retracement.
See, and this is something that I think more people need to be aware of, and because if you're kind of prepared for it, positioned for it, then that's, I think, half the battle.
I agree.
But
the thing is that it's so hard when you're in those uptrends to think, oh, well, the market's really going to pull back what, 60 odd percent, like what Bitcoin's currently in. It's hard to accept that fact and sell while everything still looks like a bed of roses.
Yeah, that's I guess why not everybody makes money every day from this business. One thing that you say, which has stuck with me, and you say it in your group bit by bit, is that our job as traders is to extract money from the markets.
Absolutely.
And that reminds me sometimes to, it's important to take profits. It's important to make sure that you're taking profits, especially if you're trading. I think it's a different story if you are a long-term investor. If you're, if you have other goals, like it's considered as your pension, or this is a different sort of strategy for you. But if you are trading, like I think most of us are, you have to remember the reason you're trading is to extract funds from the markets. And it doesn't have to be every week, doesn't have to be every month, but you also do, I find that you do really well with a lot of the crypto futures, trading crypto futures. Can you talk a little bit about crypto futures? I know some of our viewers may be familiar, some of them may not, but just a little, I guess, just a little bit about what you trade and how you go about approaching it.
Yeah, great question. I'll piggyback that comment with another quote that we commonly say, and it's from Warren Buffett, and it says, "Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy." Emotion is such, and we've talked about this before, but emotion is so hard to manage when trading because it's your resources that you've worked hard for involved, and you have to you don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose it. And the allure of perpetual growth is enough to suck you into a false sense of security of forever growth. So that was a mouthful, but what I do is that I trade crypto futures, like you said. And crypto futures contracts are basically just promissory notes. You're betting on the market going on in one direction or another. If you pick up if you go long, you're anticipating that the market's going to go up. And if you short the market, you're anticipating the market's going to go down. And to increase your gains, you can use leverage on your positions as a multiplier to increase your winnings or losses, for that matter. I actually stole a strategy from our friend Ryan Rabin. When if I make a successful futures trade, I actually funnel those profits back into back into Bitcoin or Ethereum, because those are my two long-term holds. This was important because over the years I was struggling to break through certain thresholds. And the reason why is because I was just allowing my trades to snowball and get larger and larger and larger. And then if you have a stop loss that's tripped, whether it be for a 20, 30% loss or sometimes even more, all your work that you've done is for nothing. You've now given it back to the market. So, building on the initial comment, it's our job to extract money from the market. I use futures contracts to multiply my earnings and scalp funds from the market. So I typically don't let my winners run too far. I take my emotion out of it. I take my 30, 40%, and then I just reset. I try to recalibrate, get a fresh set of eyes on the market, and then and then go from there. Put my profits into one of the bigger coins, Bitcoin or Ethereum, and I have a toxic X called Link that I like to throw money into. But yeah, that's generally my strategy and the products that I use to achieve it.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. And I think anybody who is looking to get more information as well, you know where to find Shannon.
Absolutely.
He's very open, and I also like the educational aspect of what you're doing, because I find a lot of people, the average person tends to keep it to themselves a lot of times, but you have been very forthcoming and welcoming to people who are curious about it, and providing them, I guess, with a foundation of, this is how it works, this is how to go about doing it. Any other questions? I think that's also something very, very, very special.
Yeah, I think it's necessary in this game that we play to be forever a student, because there's always somebody with a fresh vantage point who can come in and produce winning trades, winning strategies, all because they have a fresh set of eyes looking at the market. The markets have been around long before I was born, and will be around long after I'm gone. And and nobody's really won. Everybody has taken losses, so it's an evolving space that you have to be open-minded towards. You have to consider other options, other thought processes, other strategies to continually be successful.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We do have a message here from, I don't know if you know this young fella, but it looks like it's a Gerri Soltis saying, "Morning, my guys."
How you doing,
Morning,
Gerri?
Gerri. Hopefully everything is going well with you. Let us know what you're getting into today, Gerri. Be nice to hear your outlook for today.
So I'm actually glad that Gerri commented, because I've learned so much from Gerri and how he approaches the market. Because as you know, you and Gerri and you guys are very strong options traders. And I know that's not what we're talking about today, but the perspective that Gerri brings to the table when he's trading options, I've learned a lot about volume, about different charts that I never really considered. So it's a prime example. The timing was perfect.
Yeah, Gerri is very good at what he does. I think of him almost like the chart whisperer.
Absolutely.
Where it doesn't matter if it's a crypto chart or an options chart, whatever, gold chart. He's able to dive in there and give the levels. Like you said, he's also taught me a lot about the volume and being aware of when there is a large amount of volume pushing price, or the inverse is if there's a little bit of volume, then that move may be a fake out. There's not a lot of money behind it. And if you don't know, then you don't know.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, Gerri's been very helpful for that. Okay, we're gonna take a really, really, really quick break, and we'll be back in a second. I see Gerri's come back to say iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
So that's a very good one, Gerri. And you are definitely iron. That's for sure. All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds. We're gonna have a quick break, and when we're back, we'll go through just a few more questions with Shannon. And if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out, and we'll be happy to cover them. Back in a sec. All right. So Shannon, can you give us a little bit, because this is a question that Gerri likes to ask. Can you give us an idea of, I guess, your routine? Because I think that helps to kind of set the tone for people who are trading. Maybe they're not trading crypto, but kind of, can you walk us through some of the steps and the thinking process you do as you're trading?
Sure, absolutely. So, I'm always revising my strategy, as I recently said. And one thing that I'm very cognizant of is over trading. Typically, when I get a winner, I try to jump back in the market and think, hey, well, it's going to go up if I was shorting it now. So I'll try to go long and, try to time it going both ways. And I've recently got out of that. I try to trade less and have more impactful trades. So I tend to look at the big picture first. I like to look at weekly charts and I look for any type of patterns. Patterns generally follow human psychology, so they tend to be very good indicators of what's happening next. And after I identify a pattern, then when looking for an entry, I typically start to look at more smaller and smaller time frames. So I go from the weekly chart. I like the 2 day chart. I start looking at a 2 day chart. And then once I start to get some ranges in which I would like to enter, and then I go down to a 4 hour chart. And basically from a 4 hour chart with futures contracts, I can kind of make my mind up on what's a decent entry and what's not. For my spot portfolio, I don't do much buying or selling in that portfolio. I typically buy once or twice, maybe 3 times around where I think the lows are. And then I try to hold until I think the top of a market cycle is in. So sometimes there's maybe a 2.5, 3 year hold before I try to liquidate.
Okay. Okay. That's a very good sort of timeline. And it gives, I guess, the consistency, but you also mentioned that you're constantly improving and tweaking your strategy for maximum potential.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been wrong so many times. Like people say, oh, you've been trading for 6 years, you should be rich. Maybe, but I'm not. And and part of that has to do with the fact that you learn from your mistakes. I've stayed in positions too long. I've made emotional trades and I've lost money. I've made every mistake you could possibly imagine, and I'm pretty sure I still have some in my back pocket somewhere. But but it comes down to your risk tolerance, your risk mitigation. How do you your position sizes? It's there's so much involved with not being completely wiped out by the market. And and that's probably longevity. This is probably one of the biggest things that I can hang my cap on, is that I've been able to steadily move in a certain direction over this time that I've been trading.
Yeah, the main thing is growth and
Yeah.
improvement, constantly growing. And everybody has their own journey, their own trading journey. And I like the fact that we have shared multiple communities. We've shared a crypto community, we've shared options community, and I think it helps to deal with a lot of the lessons in
Absolutely.
that, when you have, because you're gonna have days when nothing's working, you're throwing everything you got and you think you see something. And being able to have a network and a group of people that you can just say, look guys, today is not my day. And have them hear you and be able to vibe on that. It keeps things in perspective, so that that was just one day. Out of all
Absolutely.
the future days, that's one day. Today was not your day, but tomorrow could be. And
Absolutely.
I think that's one thing I like about the community and how we've been able to just help one another. And we all also have our strengths, and we also have the things that we're still working on. So I always found your technicals to be extremely strong, and especially on the longer time frame, which I think ultimately that gives you the big move. That, like, if you're saying to me, okay, I don't know when it's gonna turn, but everything's lining up for a short in Bitcoin, that puts my antennas up.
Good.
And sure enough, I mean, I could pull up I don't know if you're comfortable with me pulling up the WhatsApp, but
No, go right ahead.
because I want to find, I'm
The
going
date?
to bit by bit, and it would have been I want to say it was like a couple months ago,
Yeah,
weeks ago.
it's probably about a month ago that I first started talking about it.
Yeah, I'm going back here. And I don't know if people, because it has other people's posts. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I'm just thinking about people who may not want their name shown. But anyway, here we go. I'm back here in January. Somewhere in January. Was it January? I remember you talking about the divergence. Here we go. Okay, I think I found something here. Okay, this is an example. Just one example. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure they got word somewhere. You got some big sales. So this was one of your charts here. I don't know if you want to. This is just one random one. Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I like
no
your
worries.
charts.
No worries. So those two parallel yellow lines that you can see, that's actually the flag of the bear flag. So I was looking for a breakout and confirmation, which I got on those red candles right there. I think my entry for this trade was around 89 or 90,000, in which I started shorting it.
Okay.
And what you see with those various colorful lines, those are the Fibonacci retracements. So I went from the swing high, you'll see that dotted line, to where we currently were. And those levels, the 382, the 0.5, the 0.618, are the Fibonacci retracements. And those levels would actually provide support or areas for me to take some money off the table and take profit.
Okay, so we're talking about these ones here? Or
go.
These ones? Okay.
Yeah, there's numbers right there. And if we look at it, and what is the price of Bitcoin right now? It's around 60.
It's right here, 68.
Yeah, it's around 68.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that because this chart is old now, but if you were to bring up a more recent chart of Bitcoin and overlay it with these levels, Bitcoin actually almost touched this 58,000 number.
This one right here.
Yeah. On that initial sell-off, it went all the way down to that 58,000 level, and it's now hovering just above this 63,000.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can. So this is the updated one. Yeah, I see it right here. 58. Yeah.
So if I would have trusted myself and my own chart reading, I would have had a massive gain on that trade. I think I took profit around 60 something thousand, but but I mean, that's just how it goes. I can't complain about a win.
Yeah. No, there you go. Yeah, you're right. A winner is a winner, and I always tell myself, celebrate the wins.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for you. In the community this morning, I thought it would be nice to ask a poll question, and it is: do you think Bitcoin is going to be above 75,000 or below 75,000 at the end of March?
At the end of March, and we're at
which
60,
is about a month. It's about a month. We're at 68.
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. And the reason why I would bet that we would be very close to it, maybe just below. Because typically, from what I've seen in past cycles, is that Bitcoin would form one or two bear flags before it bottoms. So there may be what appears to be a relief rally, and then it'll fall out. The bottom will fall out again before it actually starts to form a base and go up again.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I'm just grateful that you're able to join us today.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of weather in Bermuda right now.
Yeah. I have my phone propped up and it slid off. But anyway,
it's all good. Okay, so you're saying if you had to pick above, you're saying you'll pick 75,000. You said you'll pick slightly under.
Yeah, slightly under.
Okay, slightly under. Okay, I made it 7,000. There we go. Okay, slightly under. I think you're right. I mean, a lot can happen in a month.
Absolutely.
But I feel like I think you're right. I think it's gonna try and make some attempt to bounce a little. I think. The
Yeah, and
timing is the hard part.
yeah, and there's a lot of moving averages, significant moving averages, like the 21 week, the 200 week, that are pushing the price down right now. And
Yeah.
I don't have a accurate storyline to tell you why. With my style of trading, I don't really pay too much attention to the news. I know some people look on the news for short-term gains and things of that nature. I tend to be strictly charts only. Um, so I think there's a lot of pressure pushing the price down. And
Okay.
and so there may be a relief rally, but I don't think it's gonna last long.
Cool. All right. Well, you've heard it here first, everybody. And we can maybe revisit this in a month's time, see how things shake
Absolutely.
out.
I'd love to.
But yeah, that's it from me. I think we're pretty much at the top of the hour. Shannon, thank you very much for making time for us. I know you're a very busy man. Do you have any shout outs or anything you wanted to add that I didn't ask before we finish?
I mean, everybody in our trading community, I learn a lot from you guys, and and it's good to have other people that are surrounding you, that are on the same journey. So I'm glad that, I found other people who are passionate about trading, who have similar life goals, who have families, because at the end of the day, it's bigger than just making a quick dollar.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely it's the whole life situation, and you make a good point. Trading is only but one facet, one factor.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and you do have a lovely family. Please send my love to your family.
Absolutely,
And,
will do.
I know you're always doing stuff around the house. You're very much a handyman. I know you got a entire farm going
Yeah,
on. So
yeah.
keep up the great work.
I built a
Keep up the great
chicken
work.
coop last week for good measure.
Jeez. I gotta come to you for my eggs then.
Yeah, come on by.
Yeah. Cool, Shannon. Thanks again. And
Hey.
I'm sure I'll be speaking to you throughout the day today.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right.
All right. So yeah, Shannon's a great friend, great person. If you are looking to get into his community, please feel free. You can reach out to me if that's the easiest way. But if you know him, reach out, ask him. Really easy to approach, down to earth guy. A man, I would say a man of the people as well. He doesn't, just because he understands a lot about markets and has been doing it for a long time, doesn't mean that he's unapproachable. So yeah, it's really great to have him on. We did have Shannon in the Investing Blueprint, which is how I started this show. And if you want to see that interview as well, have a look at the Investing Blueprint playlist. And it's, I think it was the 6th or 7th episode with Shannon Thompson. All right, so that's it. That's basically it for today's show, everybody. Just a reminder for the calendar. We do have very important CPI data coming out tomorrow. So if you are a trader of news or you're trading equities, it's good to know tomorrow at 1 hour before markets open, we're going to be getting consumer price index numbers. Good to be aware of that as well. Thanks to everybody in the live chat. Looks like we had Isildur, we had Gerri, Soltis, we also had Red to Green. We didn't get a chance to look at some of the questions that you've asked, but we will get a chance to look at them tomorrow. Jackie Kumar is also there, Quaris, Adib, Enoch, and it looks like Son of Wall Street as well. So really appreciate everybody coming on and being able to participate in today's show. We couldn't do this show without you, and also Shannon was able to do it despite all the rain. Reminds me a little bit of the weather in the UK. Lots of rain, so much so that he wasn't able to leave his car. But I'm glad that he was able to get on, and we really appreciate it. Thanks again to everybody for watching. And yeah, from all of us here, we want to say have a wonderful Thursday. It's Thursday, the 12th of February, 2026. If you're trading today, remember to follow your process, trust your process. If you don't have a process, then maybe you should be trading on a simulator or a paper trading account, or reach out to a community like ours, and we'll be happy to take you in and show you our mistakes. That's what it's all about. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And in the meantime, happy trading.